Ois Dalet. Achine Kivon Shafilu Maisa HaMitzvah Tzrichen Libchinas Shmira. Since we're saying that even the act of mitzvahs that you do require guarding, that there should be no mixture, as we said before, nothing mixed into the Maisa HaMitzvahs. Person should not feel good by himself, like consider himself like, wow, look what it's a feeling that creep into the person. So you got to be careful when you're doing the mitzvah, you don't get that feeling. So the question is, in Cain, how and through what is going to be this shmira? Like the saying of our sages, Shomer zu Mishnah, that guarding is the Mishnah, which means that Mishnah, Torah Shebal Peh, becomes the Shmira, becomes the guard. Tishmeru lahakriv li. And therefore, Hashmira hu alidei esek ha-Torah Shebal Peh. That is through occupation in the oral Torah, the Mishnah, basically the Baal Peh. Through the Mishnah, you can have that Shmira to make sure that the mitzvahs are done without any pniya, done properly. What is the idea of it? It's going to say the person has a protection from the mitzvahs like a levush, but then you have to have a house. The house protects the whole person. That is a protection. The Mishnah is sort of the bias, the further makif that protects the person. They are a garment for the soul. The hainu shehu hamshochas b'chinas soiviv kolamin b'memal kolamin. That is bringing down the level of soiviv b'memal. V'zehu b'chinas levush shehu b'chamakif laguf. That is when we bring down the soiviv into memale. That becomes like a level of a garment. That's a level of a garment which surrounds the body. That level of soiviv that is in Mamali, that comes through the mitzvahs. But how do you guard the body and the garment? That's through a house. And that's the level of Torah. Torah builds a house around the person. As it says in the Zohar, that the Torah, that's the supreme room of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the room that Hashem provides. That becomes the bais. And also, V'gam Amar Razal further, and also our sages blessed memory say, that Meyom Shechora Beis HaMikdosh, Ein Lo LaHaKadosh Baruch Hu, Elo Be'Lomel Dal Dam Shalocha. That once the Beis HaMikdosh was destroyed, it says that the Eibishter has in this world, he doesn't have a Beis HaMikdosh, but he has the 4 cubits of halacha. So that means that the 4 cubits of halacha substitute for the house, for the Beis HaMikdosh. That means that it's a house. So the 4 amas halacha correspond to the Beis HaMikdosh, B'chinas Bayis, which is the level of Bayis. So like the pasuk further says, V'chol banayich limudei Hashem, all your children that are learned, study Hashem, know Hashem by studying. And then it says, V'rav shloim banoich, And we say, Al tikra banoich ala boinoich. There's a lot of peace to those children, but he says not children, but builders. Al tikra banoich ala boinoich. So Yisrael heim haboinim asahichel. So we see that they're building a room. Who's building the room? The banoich, the Yidden are building the room. How do you build the room? V'hainu al yidei Torah shebal peh, through the Torah shebal peh. That creates the room. That will provide the guard for the act of mitzvahs. That there should not be a nurturing of the chitzonim. By guarding of this bayis. Explain this idea. What does it mean that it's the bayis, that it's the protection? It means because when we learn in Torah Shebal Peh, you learn all the additional prohibitions and protections, what you're not allowed to do and you're not to protect. So that becomes the bayis, the protection for the Torah, because that gives you the extra chumras, the extra stringency, what you're not allowed to do and how you should do the mitzvah. So therefore, that's the extra, that's the house around. It is to be stringent, stringencies, and particulars of the rabbis, of the Sofrim, the scribes, that you shouldn't do. That's what we're learning. More things that you shouldn't do. The Torah writes one sentence, what you shouldn't do, and the Chachamim add a lot of chumras, a lot of digdukim. Also mitzvah, they're also adding how much conditions. Im oisa kach, if you do so, kisheda, b'im la psula. If you do it the right way, it's kosher. It's possible. It's not a mitzvah. This is the entire basis of the oral Torah. To be more stringent on the words they're not to do. In other words, not to do negative things, but even the positive things, what not to do and what you need to do in order to do, you have to do it specifically. And this is what I say, that the words of the scribes are more sweeter to me even than the wine of Torah, meaning than the Torah itself. Why? Because that's the main fence, the main protection for the words of Torah come from the Torah Shebal Peh. Because that's the level of the supreme gevuras that comes from the level of Chochmei Law. From them becomes the seal and the wall, the fence, the protection. So there shall not be a nurturing of the outers from the mitzvah and the rotzonel. So I am a wall. So the Shirapasik and Shirashirim, because it's over there. The pasuk, I'm a wall of protection. That is the Torah, but it doesn't say specifically whether it's Torah Shebiksav, whether it's Torah Shebal Peh. But so the Gemara in Baba Basra brings down Ani Chayma, that's Torah. The Rebbe says, Mashma v'yivamis, the Gemara is yivamis, that's some based on the base, the Koyal Torah Shebal Peh, that specifically that wall that we're talking about, now we're talking about Torah Shebal Peh, it goes to Torah Shebal Peh. Why? How does this? Sharei Amru, the Gemara says over there that that the Chachamim don't need protection. He gave a tax for the rabbis, to protect the cities. The rabbis don't need to pay that tax because they're already protected. Because it says ani chayma, and the Gemara brings down so he says that you see that oh no, I'm looking at that's the Gemara in Yevamos. No, so the Gemara over there, the Gemara says that a person who doesn't have a wife, the Gemara says, doesn't have bracha, doesn't have simcha, doesn't have bracha, doesn't have goodness. And the Gemara also says he doesn't have a choyma. Yeah, and from why do we say? Why do we say? Because it says nekeva to soiv geber. The wife will surround the husband, which means she provides a protection. The wife provides a choyma for the husband. So that's the Torah Shabbat Peh. So that means that the choyma that we're talking about is the Torah Shabbat Peh. B'ayim Torah Shabbat Peh. B'ayim Hashakosu b'dibra maschil b'chol b'nayich b'inyan al tikra b'nayich elo b'nayich. Okay. Hinei they had a dibur b'Torah Shabbat Peh when the person speaks the oral Torah. B'amrei potur v'chayiv. He says potur chayiv. He says tamei toher osur mutar nase b'chinas havdolah v'afrosh. That creates that separation, that division. Shelo yuchlu l'kabel hayanika v'achizah chas v'sholem. So they should not be able to receive a nurturing and a hold, God forbid. As the pasuk says, it's my words that I put in your mouth. What does it mean? It's not you are saying the words, repeating from Hashem, but it's basically you are saying, it's Hashem saying that He put the words in your mouth. Ani hamishna hamedaberes b'ficha. I, the Mishnah, this is the teaching, is speaking in your mouth. You're not saying the Mishnah. This is the Mishnah is talking. Or we say, Eilu ve'eilu divrei Elokim chayim. When we say that these and these Elokim chayim, these are words of a living God, it's the living God who that is the what's speaking through your mouth. So it's Elokim chayim. It's not just Beisila. You're not saying the words of Beisila Beishamai. You're saying the words of Hashem. You're saying those. Hashem is saying those words. So this distance all the other ones. And therefore, it pushes away the chitzonim, and they don't grab hold from the light which comes with the mitzvahs. But this would be an example, like a house. It's meant to make as a cover and to a place of mizerem from the winds, from the rain. That's what they're called, builders. Shehem haboinim, as habayis, they are the one that build the house. By them speaking the words of the Elokim Chaim that speaks through their mouth, that's why they built that house, they built that protection, so that the Chetzonim can't nurture. But still, the Pasuk says, Im Havaya lo yivna bayis chulu shov shakat shem. Basically, if Hashem doesn't build the house, so then you can sit and watch and build. It's not going to help you. So basically, Shatchila tzorich liyas b'bchinas v'chol b'nayich lemudei havaya. You have to be taught by Hashem. In other words, your learning of Torah has to be with Yirah Shamayim. It has to be inspired as lemudei Hashem. It has to be inspired with the davening. So then your learning is properly, and then you can build a house because you're building Hashem's house, being inspired by Hashem. That is, you have to love Hashem with all your heart, which is ru'uso de liba. That is the desire of the heart. That you should want in the truth of the truth, in the depths of the heart, the revelation of God in His b'chinas sevuk lam. You should really want to have the level of sevuk lam. And then ruach aisi ruach v'amshich ruach. This ruach brings down the spirit. If you have that rotzen alev, if you have that, you bring down that higher spirit through your rotzen alev, truthfully, the depth of your heart, you could be mamshichet, and then you can build. Then is yivna Hashem living the bayit. Then Hashem is building the house. By desire you chaliyis b'chinas v'noich. Then you can build. Mas'ein kein im loimed b'fnei atzmei. If you're just learning by itself, you don't have that rotzen alev, that Yirah Shamayim, that avos Hashem in the heart, then you're not going to build. It's not going to be. There's going to be im Hashem leivim nebayis shof shakat shem. Then you're not building anything. Zeu lemantiras Hashem lekecha chulu lishmer. So we had two levels of shmira before. We said. He asked, why is the two levels of Shmira? It says, and then it says, Shema v'shomar tolasis. It says, L'man tiras Hashem alikecha. So because you need that level of Yiras Shamayim, L'man tiras Hashem alikecha, chulu lishmer. So shekdei shegiya b'chinas bayis v'shmira, so that it should be in a level of a house and a protection through the occupation of Teresh Bapeh. If you leman tiras Hashem, if you have the Yiras Hashem, so that you fear Hashem, so then your learning is going to accomplish. If you're going to learn, if we're saying that you're learning Torah, lasis ba'oretz, you're bringing down the mitzvahs, and you're building, it has to be l'man tiras Hashem alikecha. In order for it to be in a level of a house and a protection by the occupation of Teresh Bapeh, it's only if it's in a way that you're going to fear Hashem. One who says, no, I'm just studying Torah, and we're not going to have the level of Yiras Hashem, then he doesn't even have Torah. What is the reason? The main power the reason, the power, how do you guard, how does Torah provide the protection, is because when you're speaking Dvar Hashem. It's Hashem speaking through your mouth. That's only if you have Yirah Shamayim, otherwise it's your speaking. It's not Hashem speaking. Mamer, Masnisi in Malkuso. Like we say, the Mishnah is the king. It orders, it gives commands. That's like the king that decrees nobody should come close. That's the level of Torah. So in order for the person to be a keli for the Dvar Hashem. So that comes only through the yira of the and the Ratzon Alev. That you want this revelation. So therefore, if you don't have that, then you don't have the Torah speaking through you. Then it's not Hashem speaking through you. It's not the and you don't have the ability to take away the chitzonim. So that's why you don't have even the Torah, because the Zoh say the Rapshokim. So this is the order of the verses. First we say the mitzvah that Hashem says to do ba'aretz is Hainu Hamshochas Gilu Ratzon Ha'elyon Baruch Hu B'china Sevim Kulam B'malach Kulam B'nikra Eretz. What we're bringing down is into the Eretz, into the Malach Kulamim, into the Gan Eden, into the world. We bring down the level of Sevim. That says Lasis Ba'aretz to accomplish L'Sakim. Ba'oid, then addition, Shamarto Lasis. Then it says you should guard to do. And we say two things. Hainu Beis Shmira. Shmira mibifnim umibachutz. A guarding from the inside, the outside. Which is, the two levels are B'chinas Mozen or B'chinas Bayis. That is the two levels, level of a Mozen of food, and level of bayis. The food, the Torah shebiksav, the Torah shebalpeh. So the Torah shebiksav is called the food, the mozen, the nurturing. The Torah shebalpeh is the house. That's the extra protection from the outside. Then we have the bartobom. Then the pasuk says the bartobom. Lishmoir b'shomarto and chulu. Then you have the lishmoir b'shomarto, that protection that we have from the outside through the Torah Shebalpeh, when it's inspired with the Yerushalayim, that provide that extra protection. All right.